Hello everyone, thanks a lot for joining us today, and it is really good to see that how many of you are interested in the new release of MobileNAV. I know that we didn't wait too long after the 7.0 to get your new major release, but that doesn't mean that there will be only small changes and au contraire, as the French says. Today we brought you a banger, and it's for real, I believe. Without spoiling anything, I can only say that we always listen to our partners and end users. And what we have accomplished was a request for, I believe, a long time. And that's it. Tibor will explain it in detail very soon. So today's speakers will be Tibor, as you probably can expect him, and I will do the very quick introduction and partner updates at the beginning of the session. So back to the partner news. The first point is roadmap. I can't emphasize it enough times. So we have a roadmap on our partner website, which is partner.multisoft.hu. You can find all of our products here, and the most important features, information about them. But the exciting part is that you can suggest new features here, like today's major announcement started as a suggestion as well on our roadmap solution. So we want to know what you think about our solutions and what you need in our products. So we are really counting on your feedbacks, and we are expecting to receive those. The second point is the partner collaboration program. Most of you are most probably familiar with the partner collaboration program because we are doing it since the beginning of this year, and it still runs. In fact, the September material of the month is available now. And for those who are not familiar with partner collaboration program, we designed this to provide partners with useful materials they can integrate into their communication, like newsletters, slideshows, social posts, landing pages, forms, fact sheets, and so on. So a lot of useful materials. And these are prepared so the partner can add their logos or they can insert these to their materials. So that's it. You can join the partner collaboration program anytime, and you won't just receive the latest materials, but you will receive everything retrospectively as well. And the second point, or the third, is that finally we can attend a live convention, and it is Directions EMEA. That's going to happen in, I believe, 2 weeks now, and we've been waiting for this for a very long time to be able to attend a live convention. As always, we are contributing to the event as a silver sponsor. And if you attend to, come and say hello to us. You can find us, I believe it will be booth S13, but later on we will send out a newsletter about this. And we will also have a session. Unfortunately, the date is not yet official, but in the morning we've learned that it's going to take part at, I believe, Thursday noon. So if you are not very hungry, you can join us in lunchtime. We will talk about warehouse management and recurring billing. The next point is perpetual license promotion. We ran a promotion to purchase perpetual licenses, and it was very popular. We started it at the beginning of September. And because it was very popular, we extended it until the 15th of October, which is tomorrow. So you will still have plenty of time to consider it. And just to let you know, we tend to be flexible. So if you ask us nicely, we might be able to extend the promotion with a few days on an individual basis. And the last point is the partnership agreement. I promised you to provide you with a new partnership agreement in the webinar of the 7.0 version release. We've created a new partnership agreement, but it is still under review. Lawyers can be a bit tough. So, but you can expect me or my colleagues to reach out to you until the end of this year to discuss the details and renew our partnership in a new framework. There won't be many new things in it. We just found that with the new products, the old MobileNAV partnership agreement is a bit outdated. We want to have a general one that can put our collaboration in a general framework, not focusing on any specific products. And further, please make sure that you are subscribed to our newsletter list. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I promise we are not spamming you with unnecessary information, only with the relevant and important stuff, so stay tuned. And there is just one last thing before I let Tibor to take over the microphone. Please feel free to ask us anything. You can do that in the chat, you can raise your hands as well, and we will discuss all questions at the end of the session. And of course, if the situation requires, we can jump back in the slideshow and we can show the question topics in the live demo as well quickly. So type in your questions and we will address those at the end. And with that said, the stage is yours, Tibor.
Okay, thank you. So hello everyone, another day, another MobileNAV release, but just before we start with the 8.0 release features, I would like just quickly run through with the previous release, which was 7.0. The 7.0 release, the biggest feature was the RFID tag reading capability of MobileNAV, which we have introduced. You could see a nice video created from there, yeah, we are still trying to develop and enhance that further. You will see new features around that in the new 8.0 as well. Delegated function buttons on lists. So now you can also press function buttons on the lists delegated from the parent. You can use enforce the own filters, which basically requires you to code less. You can, for example, hard code a list for salesperson code filter or location code filter or service resource ID filtering, and you don't need to write a single line of code for that. We have further enhanced the barcode scanning capability with supporting repeating the barcode scanning on opening up the card, so that if you have a workflow wizard which requires to validate a field with barcode scanning, and you open up the card, for example, then it's being replayed, and you don't need to scan it twice, once on the list for filtering and the second one on the card for workflow validation, and there are many other enhancements like this. We have also introduced self-diagnostics in the add-on, which tries to detect the most common offline configuration problems, and it also not just detects the problems, but it also suggests certain solutions for the offline configuration. We have also introduced the import and export of partial configuration. So now you don't need to move the full configuration as a one big XML, but you can, for example, just take 1 or 2 pages out of the more than 200 pages of the configuration, and you can just simply move those into production environment. And smaller improvements like under construction or the configurable list display limit or the status monitoring timeout, which is also now configurable. Those were the smaller features in 7.0. Now let's see the 8.0 scope. First of all, as Bertrand also said, we're trying to listen to our partners, and one of the feedback from our customers and partners was that the MobileNAV design is a bit outdated, so to say. So it would be very great if they could configure a much more modern user interface. We tried to define what modern is, which is not that easy, because yeah, this is more about the taste, and what do you think, what is sexy and what is not. But basically we have decided to basically redesign our different UI portions, and yeah, you will see later on that it's going to be a huge work. So we had to decide basically split that work up into multiple releases. Yeah, you will hear about full screen lists in 8.0, calendar integration, RFID enhancements, which I have already talked about. Login configuration as QR code, so you can share and read the login configuration now also with QR code and not just with the MNLC file. And we have introduced quantity field min-max value, which can also be dynamic. It's also quite interesting topic. We have fixed an old problem, which was the case sensitivity of the searches. In online it was case sensitive, and in offline it was not. So now we have basically eliminated this different behavior. And two other things like enforce major config change and test license server is two smaller feature of 8.0. So now let's see the different features in more detail. So back to the UI design, which we have decided to start in 8.0. We made a couple of goals on the beginning just to know what is the target and what is the final goal. One of them is, yeah, as I said, we would like to create a more modern design, and yeah, we would like to provide much better or higher configurability of the MobileNAV skin. At the moment, you already can change the logo, the colors, and certain things, but we would like to enhance that further so that you can play much better with the UI. And the next goal was around displaying lists, to display the data in the list more airy. So less captions and less text, but play around with the different positions. You will see the details in a minute. And in the upcoming versions, we would like to also make all the other colors which are at the moment hard coded to be configurable, and also let you as the configurator decide about spacing, borders in the applications. We would like to also provide you with a couple of predefined skins which you can basically choose from when you design a new page. And we will also introduce the import and exportation of the skin only, so not the configuration and the pages, but only the skin. And with that feature, you can also import very cool MobileNAV skins later on. And of course, we should also think about backward compatibility, because if just who is just upgrading to the MobileNAV add-on version, we don't want to break their current experience. So our one of the biggest goals was to not to break the actual design that much. So if someone is not wanting to apply the new skins or the new displaying of the lists, then basically they can continue to use the already existing or already used skin or design. And yeah, as I said, this is going to be a huge work, because we would like to rework the cards, the lists, the different spacing, borders, and then everything in the UI. So we have decided to split this work up to multiple releases. And in the first release, we have decided to start with the lists. And yeah, as always, the partner and customer feedback is more than welcome. So please feel free to give us feedback regarding the 8.0 release. So what we have achieved and whether we are on the right road. So yeah, your feedback is welcome. So let's see what we have done on the lists in 8.0. Basically, we have decided to split the list rows into 6 cells. In the previous version of, or the current version of MobileNAV, there are basically 2 lines, the first line and the second line, and you can basically change the forecolor of the lines and the background color of the row item itself. But basically this will be 2 text lines, and the 2 text lines is not configurable by any means, like the font size, the font color. The font color is changeable, but only for the full row content. So if you are displaying multiple data in the same row, then all of the data content will be then recolored. Yeah, so we have decided to split this up into 6 different cells. So we will have basically 3 lines now. We have a top line, a middle line, and a bottom line. And in each line, we have 2 columns, basically a left and a right. And with that, you are basically having 6 different cells. And basically, every cell has its own format. Very similar to the first and second line format, you can decide what to display in the cells. You can still display multiple different fields in one cell, so that's your choice. But of course, if you want to also go into the direction that you clearly display the data and you play around with the positions, then of course it's advised to display one particular value in a certain cell. And every cell can have its own font style, and a font style basically consists of the size of the font. So you can change the size of the font. You can define whether it's a bold or an italic font, and the color of the font. So basically, you can create font styles in the MobileNAV skin or skin configuration, and basically, given these font styles, you can basically create page styles. And the page style basically consists of the 6 different cells font style. So basically, you can decide cell by cell what should be the font style of that particular cell. You can also define in the page style whether you want to apply alternating row color or not. Of course, the list background color is by default white. But if you want to have an alternating background color, then you can also use that. Like in the current version of MobileNAV, we have a light gray alternating color. But now you can also configure that whether you want to use it. If you don't want to, then you just simply set it to white, and then you don't have an alternating color, and you can also play around with the color now. And you can also define what should be the left and right column percentage. By default, it will be 50%, but of course you can also play around with the column percentages, and you can also define in the page style whether in that page style the word wrap should be enabled or not. So if the content is longer than the available space, should it break into multiple lines or not? So basically, these are the informations what basically puts together a page style, and yeah, you will see later on that you can have multiple page styles in the MobileNAV skin configuration, and each and every page can have its own page style. Of course, you will have a default page style which will be applied for all pages if you don't apply any other. But you can change and play around with the page styles basically per page, MobileNAV configuration page. Of course, we will also introduce new field control commands to control or overrule the 4 colors of the cells. So independently of the font style color, you can still overrule that with field control commands. That's already in place. And yeah, as I promised, multiple page styles are allowed, so you can define as many as you wish. But one should be there should be one default, which is basically the default for each and every page where you don't overrule the default page style. The configuration XML, if you export it or import it, it will contain these page and font styles, and you can import and export skin only mode, where we will include the colors, the page font styles, the small, large icon of the configuration, the application icons, and the page icons. So everything what is basically bound to the skin itself, now you will be able to import and export it against the MobileNAV configuration. And one slide about the backward compatibility, because as I promised, we don't want to break the current design that much for those who just want to upgrade to 8.0 because of other reasons. During the upgrade, basically we will create two font styles. We will create the first line style and the second line style. The first line will be the color of the actually configured first line color, because in the previous versions we already made that configurable, and the size of that first line style will be normal, and it will be a bold font style. And we also create a second line style with the color black, because that was black in the current version, and the size will be small there. And one default page style will also be created during the upgrade, where the top cells, so the top left and top right cell, will be the first line font style, and all the other cells like the middle and bottom cells will be second line style. And we will keep the first and second line formats because of different purposes. The first and second line formats are also used in different other places, like on the map view, on the title bar of the card or list, etc. So the first and second line format will remain, but you will see that in the page configuration that now you can also configure the different cell formats immediately, and these two will live near each other. And there are rules that if there is no cell format defined for a certain page, then it will be reverted to the old style. So the old first and second line format will be applied. And the opposite way, if you forgot to define the first and second line format, the elder version of the formats, then the add-on will concatenate the cell formats together with a space dash space separator automatically, so you don't lose the first and second line format in that case as well. And, yeah, that's all about this slide. So let's see how MobileNAV looks like. I'm logged into an 8.0 demo environment with my MobileNAV client, and I would like to show you the warehouse putaways, because that's the place where I have just created a custom page style, basically. Of course, if I go to, for example, to the items, then you will see the old style. So that's the default style after the upgrade. So as you can see, not that much changed. You can see the first line with the blue color, and the second line with the black color, with a bit smaller font type, and yeah, it looks the same as before. So that's basically the backward compatibility. But if I go to the warehouse putaway list, then you can see that this list looks so much different. I'm not saying that it looks so much better, because yeah, it's yeah, someone's taste, but basically the concept I think you can already see from here is that basically the different data is split up to different cells, and you can play around with the font size. You can see that the number, which is the number of rows on the putaway, is with a red color and a bigger font, and all the others are with a bit smaller and different color, etc. And if I go to and open up the putaway itself, you can see that the putaway line is even better or even worse. Basically, you can judge it, but basically here you can see that now we are occupying 5 different cells in the from out of the 6 different cells, and I was playing around with the font sizes, with the colors, and I also try to show you here is that the color of the the handled quantity compared to the outstanding quantity is basically conditional and using the field control commands. So if I will start to process, for example, this bicycle row, then the color of the font will change to orange and green, depending on the quantity to handle, whether it is 0 or bigger than 0 or equals with the quantity outstanding. So if I'm using my barcode scanner and I confirm the bin, and so now you can see that the color became orange because now it's using the field control command to change the value. And if I just continuously scan the same barcode, which already can increase the quantity handle, which you have already learned in the different previous versions. And now if I reach it, then with the field control command, I can change it to green. And I can, for example, press the register or just go back to the list, and then I can clearly see in the list what I should handle, what is the outstanding quantity, because from this list you can basically separate the different portions of the data much better, because you can play around with the font color and font size as well. Yeah, I think this helps in the user understanding what is being displayed and what he needs to do. And basically what MobileNAV offers from 8.0 is to possibility to play around with the display data, and what do you want to basically highlight with colors or font sizes, and what is not that important. And just to be able to compare, this is the put away list, and if I just go to the pick list, which has still the elder format, so this is how it looks like. So yeah, I mean, you can judge which is better, but from here I can much versely extract which row I should handle and which not. So I really suggest you to start to play around with the different page styles and font styles and the sizes, etc. And yeah, let's see what we can do out of that. But as you can see, MobileNAV will also provide a couple of different formats and paint styles as part of the base configuration. So you can also use that for your own purposes, obviously. Next topic, yeah, it's somewhat bound to the UI redesign. Is the full screen lists. One of the other complaints about the UI is that in certain scenarios it would be much better to display, for example, the list in a full screen manner, because you have many items there and you just want to browse the items for some reason, because you might have, for example, a cacheable list, or you want to display, for example, the map view, which is also possible in MobileNAV. And yeah, it will be much better to see that in a full screen manner, and then you can switch back to the normal view if you have finished with the overview. And yeah, now it will be possible. For this particular thing, you don't need to do anything. Basically, this will be a MobileNAV feature. You don't even need to upgrade your add-on. Basically, MobileNAV client will display the full screen button automatically. Depending on the page type, it will be by default visible. If it's not visible, then you can display that in the view settings with a show or hide full screen button. And yeah, there is one or two limitations. Basically, this only makes sense on tablets, of course. So on phones, the full screen button is doesn't make anything. And the second limitation is the Windows C is not supported. Yeah, so these are the limitations around full screens. And let me show you how that looks like. So if I go to the sales, and to the customers, and I just get the list of the customers here. You already learned that we have a map view there, so I can press the map view, which by default opens up in the same column with the map itself. But now you can realize that there is a full screen button near the X, which I can press. And if I do that, then basically the map will be then basically consume all the available area for the map itself, and it's still functional. I can still use it. Certain things like the buttons, the toolbar buttons, are still available, so I can play around with the filtering or sorting and whatsoever. And in the view settings, you can also see that I can also hide this from my caption, so title area, sorry. So if I do that and I switch back to the normal view, then basically that button will be gone from there, but I can again show it with the show full screen button again. So that's how that works, and the default of this basically is being calculated whether it is a cacheable image or a map view, then it's by default available. And if you go to a totally different place like the sales orders, then it's not visible by default. But there you can also do that. So if you want to see the sales orders in a full screen screen list, then you can also do that, and that's also supported there. And one more area where I can show you and where it looks sexy is the cacheable images. You already know that MobileNAV is having a cacheable image view for the items, and there, if I press the full screen, then you can see that the displaying and interpretation of the cacheable the catalog items is much better, because now you can use the full area to display the items here. And I've also configured the quick edit, so you can see that pencil icon on the row items, so you don't even need to open up the cart, for example, to modify the order quantity. So if I just put in 2 here, then I can very quickly put together my shopping cart with the different items, and you can just switch back and go to the shopping cart and finish your order, and that's that easy now. So it's much better for example, a sales representation, where you can just browse your items and you are making actions after you have selected your items. So that's about full screen lists. The next topic is calendar integration. Yeah, this was a long lasting story. We have already asked about that several years ago, but yeah, we have always postponed this because it's not that easy. And now in this current release, we have also started we have tried to display the calendar inside MobileNAV, but then after some time we have realized that it's not that good idea, because at the end of the day, you are having, or you can have, multiple different tasks from multiple different sources, and it doesn't make sense to display a calendar which is missing the other sources for yourself, because at the end of the day, the user is using that with one personality and it's having one timeline, so he would like to anyway see all the other different stories. So the better idea is to display the different tasks or appointments on an external calendar on the device itself. And basically how our calendar integration will work is that basically it will use a device calendar, so it will create a special device calendar. And if you enable the calendar integration in MobileNAV application, then it will basically synchronize or create appointments in that device calendar. And if you are using a normal calendar application, then it will just display it as one of the all other calendar sources. So you can see the different appointments coming from Business Central or NAV itself. if you have not already enabled the calendar integration on the server side for other purposes. But now this is available, and the trick what you need to do is that you configure the two special mobile types, which is the calendar start and calendar end, which should be 2 date times basically. The rule is that if both the start and end time is set to start of the day, so 0 hour 0 minutes, then it meant to be all day event. And basically, together with the 2 date times, you can specify the start and end of the appointment itself. The location will come from the address fields, and the subject will be the first line format of the record. So basically, how it looks like, I can show you the configuration part. So this is Business Central 18 version, and if I go to MobileNAV administration and I go to the configured pages, to-dos, then you can see basically that if I scroll down and go to the mobile types, then you can see that there is a calendar start and calendar end configured for start date time and end date time. And basically that's what you need to do. On MobileNAV client, what you need to do is that you need to go to the settings and enable the calendar integration. Until you don't enable that on a particular device, it won't be synchronized to the device calendar. And yeah, you can also enable that in multiple login configurations. In that case, the device calendar will be basically filled with different MobileNAV configurations as well, which can also be a valid use case if you have, for example, multiple companies and multiple appointments in the different companies, and you can basically display them in one unified calendar. But if you do that, then and I start my calendar on this device, then you can see that I'm already having a couple of appointments here. I have a full day event for yesterday, like what is called webinar preparation, and I'm having 2 appointments. Yes, I had 2 appointments yesterday with a support and the rebuild support, and basically this is coming from the to-dos. So if I go to the to-dos here, then you can see that here is a webinar preparation, here is the support, etc. And what I can do here is that I can create a new to-do here, and I can change the description to MobileNAV 8.0 webinar, and I can specify the location of Budapest, for example. It is not going to be a whole day event, but I will specify, for example, the actual start time in Central European time, and the ending time will be around 4 p.m. Okay, so I have set this up. And if I switch back to my calendar, then you can see that it's already appeared here. So what you have basically created in the MobileNAV, and of course it will also be uploaded into Business Central server. It will also be displayed on the device calendar as a different source. So you can use this for displaying your events in the calendar. And of course, in the calendar you can change to day view, week view, month view, etc. So these are not MobileNAV features from this point on, because MobileNAV will be just a source for your calendar, and all the other features regarding the calendar will come from the actual calendar applications from your device. Okay, we had some improvements for the RFID. First of all, we have already figured out during the RFID implementation in 7.0 that a new status for the failed might be interesting. Maybe not for production purposes, but for development and the UAT purposes definitely, because in those scenarios it can happen that for multiple reasons the RFID tag cannot be processed, and the RFID status failed is basically indicating that the device scanned a certain RFID tag, but the processing of the RFID tag failed for some reason. And we have identified 3 different reasons at the moment, which is the RFID tag processing fails. So basically, that's an unknown tag type. If you remember, MobileNAV supports something like 21, 22 different tag EPC tag formats out of the 25, and it can also be a non-EPC type tag, and that can be a reason for the tag processing fails. That's one reason. Second reason is that the defined regular expression, what you have defined to split up the GS1 string is wrong, or it cannot split up the GS1 string into multiple pieces. That's the second reason. Third reason is that the regex matches, but for example, it doesn't find the item on the lookup, like on the item cross-reference. The item cross-ref number is not found in the database for some reason, and that is also, again, in this case, it's a failed status RFID tag. And you can see a screenshot on the right side about that, which is indicating that there is a failed tag, and we also display the failed reason, because now we introduce a new mobile type, which is called RFID failed reason. And if you use that, then we can also persist the reason into the underlying table. So when you are writing the processing of the RFID tag on the server side, then you can also figure out what is the reason for the failure. Another improvements in the RFID area is that we have tried to improve the cleanup performance, and there we have decided to basically let the expected tag generation function to clean up the remaining data there. So when it runs, basically the configurator should clean up the data before it's being run. The reason behind is that if the MobileNAV application would need to do that, then MobileNAV through the web service can only delete one by one, so record by record. And if you have a couple of hundreds of RFID tags which are still there in a temporary table, then to delete them one by one can take up a couple of seconds. And with this cleanup is basically postponed or shipped to the expected tag generation method, you can speed up this process, and you can do that on the server side. We have also decided to provide you with an RFID summary. So when you are pressing the finish action, then MobileNAV will display a summary of the scan. So how many expected tags are there which are still expected and not found? How many found items you have? How many new tags which were not expected but new tags, and how many failed tags are there? And as well as together with the RSSI threshold, because as you know, there is an RSSI threshold which you can set, and it can also happen that if you set the threshold to a certain limit, then certain tags are not processed and being left out from the final finish action. And this summary page also displays that, okay, are you really sure that these number of tags will not be processed in the finish action because of the threshold, for example? And one more thing what we have introduced is the status quick filter. Now we have basically 4 different statuses, which can be expected, found, new, and the failed. And we have introduced the quick filters for these statuses, so you can very easily turn a certain status on or off. And MobileNAV will filter the data in the RFID list. And I can also show you screenshots about these features. So on the first screenshot, you can see the quick filter actions on the under the title bar. Basically, you can see 4 icons, and those 4 icons works exactly the same like the on filter, so you can turn them on or off. And you can basically filter the tags like that by status. The next screenshot is about the finish action. So if you press the finish action, then we will show you a summary, how many expected, found, new, failed. Or if I would set a certain threshold, then I would also see the threshold statistics, basically. And the last 2 slides is about a business process error. For example, in this case, the server side logic doesn't allow to scan new tags, and in such a case, basically an error is being displayed on the finish action. With the status filter, you can very quickly turn off the expected and found statuses, and you can also only see the new ones. And with that, you can very easily decide what to do with those news. You can basically delete all and select all and delete all, or find them and detect and locate them and remove them from the area if they were mistakenly taken there. Okay, next story is about login configuration QR code. As you already know, or might already know, MobileNAV is able to generate a MobileNAV login configuration file. This is what you can also do during the assisted setup, for example, or you can do that anytime from the user setup. And that's basically a special file with an XML content. And in the XML file, we include the server, the port, the user, password if it's being provided, the instance, company, etc. So all the details what you should fill out on the login screen. And originally, you can send this file to the device, and on the device you can import that into the device. But in certain scenarios, this is still too complicated for the users. So we have decided to support to share this as a QR code. So now MobileNAV is supporting to scan a QR on the login configuration list. I can also show you how is that done. So basically, in MobileNAV, if you log out, then on the login configuration view, you can press the scan QR code, and the scan QR code will basically launch the barcode scanner of the device, and you can scan in the login configuration QR code. And you can also share it. So if on one device you already have a login configuration, like in this case, then you can go to the actions and press the share as QR code, and then we will use a link to provide the login configuration from the XML content, and with the scan QR option, you can read on different device, and you can try to log in like that. And this is also supported on the add-on side. So if you go here and you go to the users, and you open up that already known, not this one, sorry, that generate login configuration user interface. Here you can also basically press the show login configuration QR code, and the same thing will happen. It will generate the QR code for you, and you can then send that to the device, or just show the QR to the user itself, and he can scan it and he can log in right away. So this is also possible from the login configuration from the MNLC generation user interface. And the other behavior which generates the MNLC file is of course still available, so you can still use that. That's going to generate the MNLC file, but you can also use the QR code for now. Okay. Yeah, in case of quantity fields or integer or decimal fields, normally you are having a minimum value and a maximum value. And the good thing now is that you can also specify the max value and the min value as well to a dynamic value. So not just static numbers, but also field references can be used. So you can say that the minimum value of the quantity to handle should be 0 because you cannot handle less than 0, and the max value of the quantity to handle is another field on the same page, which is the quantity outstanding. And if you do it like this, then basically depending on the actual record, the maximum of the quantity to handle field will be basically calculated from there. So if I just very quickly go to the pics, for example, and I just simply just quickly execute the staging process, then you can see that there is a quantity to handle field here. And if I just try to use the plus buttons, I cannot press the plus buttons more than 2. So the plus and minus also reflecting this minimum and maximum, so you cannot make a mistake. Of course, if you edit it, then it's already signal that you cannot enter 3, for example, into this field value, and the already known feature, which is basically increasing the quantity by scanning, that also displaying this limit reached notification if you are trying to scan and increase the quantity to above the maximum. And this is very handy because if you remember, together with this quantity increase, if you have already reached the maximum and you just let the barcode scanner to increase the quantity above the quantity outstanding, then you got an error on the card, which you had to revert in order to continue. So now with this feature, we are basically you can configure the system in a way that it doesn't increase to a certain amount. So that's about the quantity min max, and I can also show you the configuration of that. So if you go to the putaways, to the putaway line, for example, then you can see that on the quantity field we have a min and max value, and the min value is having a static number which you can enter, and in the max value you can also choose from the decimal fields from the very same card. So here you can create a field reference basically. Case insensitive search. Yeah, as I said, it was basically depending on the server side database correlation, whether it was case sensitive or case insensitive, and depending on that, you had to provide the filter in an online mode, matching the casing. But now, as you can see, I can change it either this way or that way. So lowercase or uppercase. In both cases, it will find the two corresponding lines here. So now the online searches are also made case insensitive by default in MobileNAV, and you cannot break that. I think that's a good news for the device users, because now you don't need to take care about it anymore, and you also don't need to change the server side database correlation in order to change or support this. Okay, and for major config change, we'll introduce a new MobileNAV user setup method, which will basically allow you to empty the client side cache, the client side database, and if you press that, the next login of the user will basically do like it would drop away all the client cache. The downloaded data, the downloaded configuration and everything, and it will download the configuration and the offline data from scratch. Yeah, sometimes it is asked by our customers and partners, is there any way to basically reset the device for that particular login configuration, and they are doing tricks like changing the username or changing the server address or whatsoever. Now this is not needed anymore because you can press this button on the server side, and then on the next login it will throw away everything. And the last small feature is the test license server. In certain cases, there are complaints about MobileNAV is not accessing the license server for some reason, and we are normally asking for logs, which is most of the cases is asking for an exported app data, which you can also do, but now it's much easier, because if you go to the About screen of MobileNAV, then you will find a new button called Test License Server, and if you press it, then on that very moment, it will try to invoke a method and basically test the connection with the license server. And if it's displaying OK, then you can be sure that the license server connection is OK. And if it would fail for any reason, then you would see the error directly here, which you can, I don't know, show your IT admin that the client device is not able to access a certain URL, or send it to us for review. So that's the test license server. And yeah, what I have forgotten to show you is the server side configuration of the skins, and I don't want to miss that out. Sorry. Yeah, as I promised, with the UI redesign, you can have multiple page styles, and in this demo system, I'm having a default, which is basically created after the upgrade. As you can see, that we have an alternating row color because that's the actual design, and we have the first line and second line font styles in the different cells, and we have the common percentage and the word wrap. And we have I've created a new style, which is basically being used on the put away header and put away line, where, as you can see, I have played around with the different font styles in the different cells. I have removed the alternating color via changing that to white, and that's all. And basically, if you go to the put away header or line, it doesn't matter, then you can scroll down and you can see that it is now referencing the page style new style, so not the default but the new style. And in the cell contents, I have defined that is the place where you can define the different cell formats. And as you can see, the line format is still there, so the first and second line format is still available, but now you can also define the cell formats immediately, and they will be reflected on the list displaying when you're opening up MobileNAV. So I think I have finished the introduction of the MobileNAV 8.0 features. You can ask questions now if you would have any.
So there we had a question from Mr. Schaefer earlier, which was, which calendar applications are supported on the device? Is Microsoft Outlook working there too?
Yeah, it basically depends on the device. We have not tested that much, that too many calendar applications yet. Yeah, what I have forgotten to show you is that what is the biggest feature is not that just the MobileNAV displaying the calendar appointments, but you can also double click on it, and it is offering you to open up the proper card in MobileNAV. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that many so basically all of the different calendar applications are supporting to display the local calendar events. What is questionable is whether it is supporting this deep link, which basically opens up the related card in MobileNAV itself. So yeah, to be honest, I have not tested the MobileNAV with the Microsoft Outlook yet, Yeah, I mean, this is what you need to try out. I'm, for example, having a Samsung calendar on my Android phone, and there this deep link doesn't work in the backward direction. But in Google Calendar, for example, it is working on Android as well. So this will depend on the calendar type. I hope. Yeah, most of the calendars will support this deep link and to open that up in MobileNAV. But this is something what we cannot really control. So we just have an URL which opens up the calendar entry in MobileNAV, and if it is not supported by the calendar application, then we cannot really do anything about that. Okay.
Thank you very much, Tibor. We have some further questions. Mr. Schaefer, if that answers your question, please just leave a comment. And if you still have any questions, then please address those in the chat area. Next question was from Julian regarding the QR code feature. Due to technical issues on my side, I did not see if the QR code need an already existing entry in the mobile client or not. So do we need one?
No. So basically, in MobileNAV, you can have this login configuration totally empty, because this is basically existing at the bottom of the list. So if this list is empty for you, you can still press the scan QR, and you can read the QR code as the first login configuration in the system.
Okay, regarding the previous question, Mr. Schaefer has another one. Can I select which calendar is used to fill the entries in the calendar? I believe you should be able to select default.
No, this is not so. That's the point. MobileNAV doesn't target a certain calendar. It is basically fills a calendar source, and the calendar source is there for each and every calendar applications what you have on the device. So that's why I'm pretty sure that each and every type of calendar is at least able to display the calendar events on the calendar itself. What I'm trying to say is that what is questionable is whether the backward deep link which opens up the related card in the MobileNAV application, whether that works from that particular calendar application, that's a question. But basically, you are not targeting a certain calendar. You are basically MobileNAV will create a special calendar source, and that calendar source can be displayed in a calendar or not. So you can switch these calendar sources on or off. So for example, here, as you can see, we have this MobileNAV calendar, and if I can turn that calendar source on or off on this application. And if I would, for example, configure the Office 365 account, then I would also see those entries here as well. Any other questions?
Yeah, there are a few. So regarding the QR code feature, when will the QR code feature be available with the release of 8.0 version, which will be when, Tibor?
Yeah, the 8.0 will be released around mid of December. So hopefully just before Christmas, you can put it under the Christmas tree, hopefully. Yeah, as I said, for reading the QR, that's a client feature. But if you want to also generate the QR from the MobileNAV add-on side, from the generate login configuration screen, for that you need to also upgrade your MobileNAV add-on as well to 8.0.
Okay, so the next question is from David. Can we use the full screen to display, for example, a panel to record production?
What is a panel?
Like a huge tab where you register the materials consumed, maybe.
So this is the full screen list is for lists at the moment, so you cannot use it for cards at the moment. We have not started that part of the MobileNAV user interface right now. So at the moment we are not thinking about to support full screen cards. but as we have not yet started the card layout and to redesign the card layout, maybe that will be also decided to be implemented. But the current full screen is targeting the lists, so you can display a list in a full screen, whether it is a cacheable image list or a map view on the list is switched to a map view, but basically that is designed for list at the moment.
David added a comment. He said shop floor, so I believe he meant to have that shop floor feature in full screen view, but that's not available yet. Maybe. Was that an answer for you, David?
I think what they have meant about shop floor is that when they are registering the consumptions, MobileNAV is having already like a card layout where you can register the consumption. That's a card layout, and that card layout is not yet supported for full screen yet.
At the moment, but maybe in the future.
Yes,
yeah.
That's
the 8.0 version won't support that yet. Jumping back to Mr. Schaefer's question, he had some additional comments. So, okay, so I have to select the calendar source in my calendar, and whether Tibor, can you show where to find the source to select for? I believe it depends on the actual calendar application.
Yeah, exactly. So in the standard calendar, here you can see the different sources, and this is the point where you can turn them on or off. And so normally, where you can add different sources, you can find this device as well. If you will try it on an iOS or Android, you will see that in the settings of the calendar, you will see all the different sources in the calendar app, and there you can turn to display certain events on or off.
Yeah, I believe the calendar application will guide you through how you can add a new source to your calendar. We had another question from Tanvir. How far the events are provided to extend the MobileNAV pages to make the customizations?
This is not really an 8.0 topic, but yeah, I mean, since we are already on Business Central and Business Central SaaS, we should be 100% prepared for MobileNAV extendability. What I can say is that yeah, you can extend our pages. You can put extra fields on there. You can put extra buttons, but the extension, the sense of extensions is also valid in MobileNAV. So basically, you can add extra to the MobileNAV configuration pages. Of course, you can hide the fields which you don't want to see, and you can also replace, for example, with new function buttons if you want to, for example, replace a base function, for example. So certain things can be very similarly done in a way how you, for example, extend the Business Central standard user interface. Yeah, there are standard events which you can react on, like the on-validate or the on-open, on-close, etc. If you find any point where you want to add extra logic and you can't insert it into our actual process, then we always ask you to send a request on our partner portal to request a new publisher event, and in the next release we will probably make that available for you. So our message is always that we are open to any kind of integration. We should, yeah, we promise that we will be faster than Microsoft.
Perfect.
Do we have questions in the queue, Berton?
I think he's frozen out.
Oh, okay. And I think I will just check it on my own. And I have further questions. Can I split the entries in NAV for the calendar by the user? I don't really understand that question, to be honest. But basically the idea is that in MobileNAV, so basically you need to create a page in MobileNAV configuration which is filtered for a certain user. So it doesn't make sense that you create a list which displays all the different entries for all the different users, and you synchronize that into the local calendar. Instead of that, you need to create something like a my service task list or a my to-dos or whatsoever, which is already filtered by a certain user, and that is what you basically configure with calendar start and calendar end, and you turn off the calendar integration to display those. And of course, if in BC or NAV you set the user or the resource ID or whatsoever, and with that you split up the tasks among users, then of course you will, at the end of the day, you will split up the task between the calendars as well. I don't know whether you meant that or not. I'm just checking the questions, but I think we have covered all of those.
Sorry, I have lost the internet connection, but I'm back. So
yeah, I think we have. I just answered the last question we had here. So yeah.
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
Okay. If there are no other questions, then I would like to thank you for your attending. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you will also see that regardless of the COVID situations, we are continuously developing MobileNAV. We will be there in Milan, so let's meet with us, and yeah, we will just invite you for a chat at our booth. Yeah, stay tuned for the next releases and for all the other apps and add-ons what we also do provide. So not just MobileNAV, but Servotion, Rebuilds, or other stuff. Bertolan will send out webinar links for the other add-ons as well in the future, because we are continuously trying to promote those as well. And yeah, and thank you very much once again.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming today. Sorry, this is another angle of my camera, but let's hope that you can see me well. So it was great to meet you. Thanks for the questions. Thank you for the attention. And I hope to see you at the Directions event in Milan. And yeah, look forward to have a chat with you in live as well. We will provide you with the recording after our session. We will send out a follow-up email so you can watch it again. And thanks for coming again. Have a nice rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.